My name's Steve Bridges. I'm over on G Drive North, and since the spill, it's like it killed all of the garden foliage. I got sick. One of our dogs died. My mother, who's elderly, everything about her, it's been a lot harder for me to take care of her since she got it, and I haven't been, like, I've had aches and pains that I never had before that. I stayed in almost every day I didn't know it was too bad. I was trying to take care of the farm, the gardens and lawns, and it got where I couldn't breathe with that burn that comes in.
Yep.
Threw up, and like I said, one of our dogs died. We used to have cranes that come in the yard, and they're gone. Half of our cats disappeared. Birds were dead all over our yard. And I've watched, I tried to tell this to Trace with the Enquirer News, and they were taking and pushing earth across the other side, because I live on the side of the road across the river, within probably 300 feet of the river, and I was watching, they were taking dump truck loads of dirt and filling in, encapsulating the sludge that was on as soon as the river went down. And they covered up with about 6 inches of earth and clay, and then compact it, and then covered up with straw and throw zinnia seeds on. It's what they did this spring.
You mean grass, right?
It looks more like a zinnia's flower mix.
Okay.
It's because they're big, tall things. They just started to bloom, and a lot of them are zinnias.
All right.
There may be some grass in that, but it was like a wildflower mix that was annual wildflowers to cover up the mess, so it didn't look so much like they were just throwing straw and raw dirt on it.
So they were actually putting dirt over the top of oil, then planting grass over the top of that.
Right. They didn't. You always hear how on the news they're sopping it up, but they didn't sop it up, they covered it up.
Did you complain about it?
I told the Enquirer News I haven't been across the street, as there's hundreds and sometimes 100 vehicles that are on the other side of the road, and there's airboats roaring. They have their check station now, they built in right across the street from me. And I've been trying to take care of my mother, who's a lot sicker since this has come up. So,
give me some symptoms that you know. Okay, I'll give you what the MSDS sheet says. It says fatigue, diarrhea, and you know, you can't sleep. I mean,
well, I can't even take my mother now on the car ride without me having to stop because she craps her pants.
All right.
And I've had that too. I didn't know that was anything from it.
Oh yeah,
but
diarrhea is part of it.
Vomiting on times. I'll get up in the morning and throw up. Sometimes to the point I've thrown up blood. The dog, the one that didn't die on us, it gets out some mornings. It's better now, but it lost all its hair.
And you said one of your animals already died?
Yeah, we lost the older dog.
How long after the spill?
About a month.
About a month after the spill. There's hundreds of people that have now told me that their pets have died. I want a little background. Did you say you were in the Navy?
I was Army for 12 years.
Army?
The last 7 I was an officer.
So you were an officer in the Army, and you know chemicals a little bit, you mentioned?
When I was doing maintenance, we'd have to do things like, if you had an oil drop out of your truck, you'd have to call in and get all of the sheets and do toxic cleanup. And I didn't see them doing any of the stuff we had to do in the Army to clean up our, a quart of oil spilled.
So you have knowledge of what should be done in the cleanup process and what they weren't doing in the Battle Creek Marshall cleanup process.
Yeah, it surprised me. That's why I got a hold of Enquirer News and told the reporter, Trace Christensen, but they
didn't do anything?
I never heard anything more from him. I gave him my address and phone number, and he just...
The Battle Creek Enquirer hasn't said anything negative about Enbridge or the EPA, and I have contacted them many a times. The only time they put me in the paper was to say that I was going to meetings, and they didn't talk about the cover-up. I don't understand. Maybe they get paid off. I don't know. I have no idea why. Maybe they're afraid of Enbridge. I don't know.
I watched a woman ask questions to Congressman Wahlberg, and it was just like he closed off. It was totally, there was no, he just moved on to the next question. That's the first bit I was hearing of it. I didn't know why I was getting sick. And my mother, she's, sometimes like today I had to take her and put her down for a couple hours and she gets sick and she'll throw up and her blood sugar has gone up in the 400s, and I can't take her away from home because she gets diarrhea and has fevers and has headaches all the time.
Headaches are a big part of it too. Migraines, headaches.
She's lost her hair too, parts of her hair. It's really thinned out. And I know she's old, but she's aged. You know, in the last year.
Because of the oil spill.
It was during that phase, that 3 months right after it, that I really noticed she got really sick. She said her lungs were burning. Mine were burning. That's when we lost the dog.
Well, trust me, it was from the oil spill. They just don't want you to know about it. And so, what do you want to tell Enbridge? What do you think about their cleanup process, the EPA? You know,
they should really clean it up. If they have to remove that layer of oil and wash the entire valley out, because what I understand, it has heavy metals in it, and you cover it up, it's going to get in the groundwater and be there for 1,000 years. They need to excavate everything within the contamination plume and beyond it.
What did you think of my videos? You just came across my videos, didn't you?
Yeah, today.
And what did you think about it? You contacted me and...
Well, I thought to myself, I got some of the information about some of the sickness that's happening. It sounded like what my mother and I have been going through. And I knew we were sick, but I couldn't figure out why we were sick. And I think since it happened right with the oil spill, I think that's what's hit us.
I think so too, and I'm glad you contacted me. Is there anything else you would like to add before we're done?
I'm not sure if whatever the contaminants were caused neuro damage, but I've had the shakes sometimes so bad I can't even hold a drink, and they'll fall right down. And that's happened since I got in that sphere too.
It says that it can mess up your nervous system. So who knows? Maybe it did. I hope not, but...
I rather hope to too, because it's something that's fairly permanent when you get neuro damage.
Well, we need to get an attorney for you, and you need to file a lawsuit and join the class action, because what if your health does keep going downhill, and there is proof that it's from the oil. I don't care what they say. When you have hundreds of people with the same symptoms, and that's what the MSDS sheet says the symptoms are, it's obvious that's what's going on.
I think everybody that's within... I found out too that they were supposed to evacuate us within 1,000 feet of the river, up the highest part of the spill, and they didn't evacuate anybody. We didn't hear anything about it. We just got sick.
So you never were evacuated?
Never were evacuated, never were anything. We just were in this zone and got ill and have been dealing with it ourselves until I found it on the internet today.
Well, I'd like you to take me to the spot that you believe would have oil buried, and we'll dig it up and see what we can find, all right? All right. We have lots and lots of sores here. What do you think that's from?
Well, it started about the time of the oil spill, a couple weeks after, maybe 2 weeks after the oil spill, and I got bad breakouts, some of them in my groin, on my legs, all underneath my arms, and it was like a toxin my body was trying to get rid of, sometimes as much as an ounce of poison.
Right.
And the first times it just drove me crazy. I lost the that's another thing too. Last October I lost the nails on my foot, the toenails.
Right. Which
that hurt a lot too.
So that was right after the spill, not too long.
Yeah, that was in that same time period.
Well, if Enbridge did this to you and they didn't give you an evacuation and warn you, are you mad?
Furious.
Well, you don't seem furious.
I don't. When I'm mad, I'm not screaming and yelling. That's when I'm usually thinking of something else. But I'm mad. It's just, if I'm screaming and yelling, I'm not real mad.
Who are you mad at?
Mostly the jerks that are running the program, both government jerks. The EPA should have evacuated us, Michigan's EPA, the Enbridge people, It was like a collusion of government industrial
And
pricks.
what company you mad at?
Enbridge. They're the ones that are in charge of the operation that are screwing things up.
What's your name, please?
My name is Judy Bridges, and I live at 8632 G Drive North.
And your son called me. He wanted me to talk to you and him about oil that you saw covered up. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, there was many, many loads, and we think about 400.
400 loads of dirt?
Dumped in that river area right where we're at, and they were covering up the oil. They weren't getting rid of it. And we called the Enquirer News and told them about it, and they just ignored us, so we didn't do anything further.
So they put gravel and sand over the oil in
the top
in
yes.
the river.
Yeah.
Without digging it out.
Right. And along the bank.
Wow. And can you are you sick at all?
Well, I've had lots of trouble with hypertension, and I have a diabetic problem anyway. And it's gotten so bad I can't control it since that problem out there.
The oil spill.
Yes, and the dogs got sick. One dog, we started letting it out the back door rather than the front door because he was vomiting. And he's a little dog, close to the ground. And then my big dog died.
Oh, you had a dog that died?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And it's buried out there close to...
We've had hundreds of people say that their animals have died. Do you have any rash or sores? Did you ever get that?
Yes, I have petechial hemorrhages that I've been unable to... They come and go.
And there's one up there.
Yes.
And some over there.
Yes, and I have some here. But I blamed it on the diabetes rather than on the oil. But
because you didn't know that the symptoms could be from that. No one ever contacted you, did they?
Nobody ever contacted me, and I had no way of knowing other than what I saw. I saw them covering up that oil with the sand and cutting paths through there and cutting towards the river.
Right.
I've lived there all my life. I've lived there. I was born there.
So there wasn't all that sand there before?
No, it was none there.
So there was no sand in the river at the time, and now that the sand is there, that's what they've put there.
Right.
Well, they did the same thing to Talmadge Creek. They put sand over all the oil in the whole creek. So, and I've proved that recently. So what do you have to say about Enbridge now that you believe that...
Well, I'm very angry because we've had illnesses that we shouldn't have had, and I depend on my son, who is nearing 50, to take care of me because I have no one else. And I'm very angry with those people. They should have come around and they should have told us the things that could happen.
And about the evacuation, do you know about that?
No.
Well, because no one ever told you about it. Yeah, there was supposed to be a mandatory evacuation, and they never told nobody about it. So, I'm going to try to, help all you people out. We need to get you an attorney, and we need to have you file a lawsuit against Enbridge for you getting sicker and for the rashes. And how's your eyesight? Is it worse?
Worse.
It's worse, yep.
Yes, and it's like... things too. One of the things that's happening to me as far as my eyesight's concerned is it's getting very, hard to read, and I have a lot of, a lot of vision problems.
Right, and on the MSDS sheet, it says that it can hurt your eyesight. So, yep. You guys, that's why I'm trying to tell everybody. That's why I need people to watch my videos so they know what's going on. If you ever watch my videos, please pass them around or tell somebody about them, and that's the only way we can get this information
out and have it all cleaned up along the river, as far as I knew, by June, and they were going to let canoes and, that kind of thing.
Right. Well, when did you, so you heard that? Who'd you hear it from? Workers or?
No, I read it in the paper, I think.
So in the paper,
yeah, on the radio. Because I listen to radio all the time, too, and then And at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, they told about they were going to have that cleaned up, and they probably would be able to let canoeists and whatever in there. And it was either June or July. I'd have to look at my diary.
Right. Okay. And so now that they're cleaning,
now they're reneging.
Yeah.
They're reneging now. They tell you one thing and then they do something else.
So what do you feel about that?
I think they're a bunch of liars now.
Yeah, definitely. They are.
Because they're lying to people. And the more they lied, the more I got suspicious.
And honest with us and told us, rather than they were sneaky. They were sneaky. They had to be sneaky to haul all that dirt in there and cover that up and not come and tell us about it.
And
that land has changed so much you wouldn't believe it. And I can see it because I've lived there 75 years.
Yep, so you know the difference.
I know the difference, definitely. I learned to swim in that river.
And, well, I hope you don't swim in it now because...
No, but I mean, that was, when I was a child, that was where my dad and mother took me to learn to swim.
Right.
So
well,
I know that land.
Do you have grandkids?
No.
All right. Well, if you did, I wouldn't want you to take them to the river. That's what
I wouldn't.
That was going to be my point. And, so, we got about a minute left. Is there anything else you'd like to say? I mean, how mad are you?
Well, I just want them to be honest with us, and they definitely have not been.
No, they haven't. That's a fact.
And it makes me very sad that they've ruined that, because I've lived there all my life, and that's it's an attachment more than just the oil. It's the land that I've lived on all my life.
And who is the company that you feel has ruined it?
Enbridge.